Hey everybody, always Dizzy here. I just finished a stream and it was kind of amazing because I had just been practicing how to quickly mate with a queen against king, doing almost all pre-moves last night. And then during my stream, all that practice came to be useful because I had to quickly mate with queen against king, and I got to show that hard work on stream. And I will show that clip after I record this part of the video. So I'm going to show you how to quickly win with a queen against king. Obviously, this is an easy mate, but often you will be in the position where you only have a few seconds left, and it really sucks to give stalemate, right? Or to run out of time. So I was curious if there was a way to pre-move all of this. And so I was up late last night and I did a bunch of research. I went through a lot of different websites, a lot of archived or deep, like very old forum messages on Reddit and chess.com, some of it over 10 years ago. And what I found was, well, first of all, let me show you. Let me go back to that. First of all, let me just show you because it's probably boring listening to me. But long story short, this technique that I'm going to show you, which was not invented by me. In fact, it's almost all of it is done by, was kind of revealed to me when I watched one of Amon Hambleton, one of the chess bras. He has a video, and I'll link that in the description if you're curious as well. So this is basically his technique, but I think I've just kind of gone into it just a little bit deeper. So I'm just going to demonstrate this to you, and on average, I think I can do it in about 1 second. Roughly 1 second. Was pre-moves. And from what I gather, I think this whole thing is 100% pre-moves. Well, not 100%, but everything except for one move. One move you have to make on your own, which takes about 1 second, and that's why this takes 1 second. So however long it takes you to make this one specific move is how long it should take you to mate with queen against king. Okay, so let me show you. Let me go to the board editor. So I'm just going to do this against the computer in a few random positions. Okay, let me just edit the board, to get some random position. That should be okay. Okay, so I'm going to do a few runs of this. Let's go. I'm going to start at 1 minute, and here we go. Okay, that's not actually what I wanted to do, but it'll work. Okay, that's actually not my usual technique, but it worked. So that was 2 seconds. I'll do another position and just kind of shuffle things around a little bit. Okay, whoops. I want to go to play against computer. Continue from here. Okay, try that again. Try to break that. So try to break 2 seconds. Okay. Oh man, I think I just lost some time there. Okay, there we go. Okay, oh, 3 seconds, really? Am I that slow? Okay, 3 seconds, try it again. I mean, 3 seconds in a game is pretty good, but I'm not the fastest person with a mouse. Let's try again. Whoops. Okay, hopefully I'm white. Yeah, okay, here we go. Okay, there we go. 1 second. So I can't do it in 1 second every time. Let's do it one last time. We just move things around, right? Like that. Continue from here. Okay, let's see. Moment of truth. Here we go. Okay, there we go. So that's two 1 seconds in a row. And yeah. Unfortunately, because I don't let my time run under 10 seconds, you don't see the milliseconds on there. It just shows, you know, so we don't know exactly how below 1 second how it was. But anyways, you get the idea. It's quick. And so the technique, and again, all credit to Amon Hamilton and some other people, because let me show you originally how I used to do it. And this is how I would still do it over the board. So let me just get back to this here. So the way I would do it over the board is I would just make smaller. I would only move my queen until I put the enemy king in the world's smallest box. So something like this. I would only move the queen. Whoops, that was a mouse slip. I would only move the queen until, the king gets into the world's smallest box. And then I would bring in the king. And I would do this over the board too. But when you only have 1 or 2 seconds left, or 3 seconds left, or 4 seconds left, that is cutting it too close, and you have to pre-move. And so the technique that some people online on forums suggested, and then just honing it a little bit further with Simon's technique, is you basically, well, let me just start from a position here. You spam the king and queen together. And that's what some people online suggested. Because that way you can pre-move it, and you're not in danger of losing the queen. If you just move the queen by itself, you can be in danger. You can't always predict where the king will go, and it could be a problem. Like, for example, you can't pre-move here because black might play king g3 next move, and then you just lose the queen. So the first part is you always keep the queen and the king together, and then you can just pre-move them, and you won't lose any time. Maybe on chess.com you lose the 0.10, the 0.1, but on Lee Chess you won't lose any time if you pre-move. So just keep them together, and then you just, I call it spamming. You just spam that. You just spam it, spam the king and queen, as you saw me do, until you get the queen to one of these 4 squares. So the third bishop square. And ideally, you want to get the king, you want to keep your king kind of in the center, or you don't really want your king around here, because then you can deliver stalemate. So you want to keep your king kind of out of that box, right? You don't really want your king here. And if you spam the moves, if you pre-move, that will just tend to happen. You're just going to get the queen. You're going to end up with the queen there, as you saw I did in my game, and as you'll see in my games against humans as well. So you just keep spamming it, the king, and keep your king kind of towards the center, and try to get your queen on this square while his king is within like this area. And then once that happens, you'll notice that, so your king might be on one of these 3 squares, because you kind of want to keep it again in the middle. And when that happens, and at that point you will have spent no time because you pre-moved all of that. So when that happens, the king will only have 2 squares to go to, right? Literally, there's only 2 squares that the king can go to. And so once you have the queen on this square here, you then want to pick it up and hover it and release it. So not release it, but you want to hover it and just be ready to go either here or here, because the king can only go to one of these 2 squares. And so if it goes here, you want to keep it on the back rank into what I call the world's smallest box. And if it goes to the other square, then you want to keep it on the back rank that way. And then once you release it, you can pre-move the next 2 moves. King here, or queen here. So that's the only move you actually need to make on your own. Everything else is a pre-move. Every other move is a pre-move. So again, so let's just put it somewhere else. So let's say this is a starting position, right? And then let's just say this is starting position, and then you go here. So you pre-move that. He goes here. You pre-move that. Let's just say this happens. You pre-move that, and let's say They went here and you pre-moved that. So they're not even in check, but they still only have one square to go to. And so at this point, you're picking up the queen and you're ready to go either here or here, depending on where they go. So in this case, you know where they're going to go because they weren't in check. But so in this case, you can actually pre-move again, but it's going to be going so quick. And if you use the technique, you still probably just hover it. But sometimes they'll be in check. Like most of the time they will be in check like this. And then, yeah, you want to hover the queen. So you pick it up and then you're ready to go either here or here. So if it goes here, then, and it'll take you like half a second to actually think where, if you're supposed to go here or here. Once you figure that out, and then you just release it, and then you get ready to pre-move the next two moves, because he can only go to the corner, and then you just bring the king into that square, and then you go queen here. So you just pre-move these next two moves. So again, if this was a position and the king goes here, you put the queen on this square, and then you pre-move here, right? So the only decision you're ever making is in this position when you're deciding where, when your opponent is deciding where to move, and then you will choose which one square to go to. Every other move can be a pre-move. And as you saw in the games that I showed right before this explanation, and I just realized that my board is kind of cut off there. Sorry about that. Hopefully the whole thing wasn't like that. That's got to be annoying. But you just spam, keep them together, and then try to get the queen here. But you always want the king close by so you can pre-move that, right? So you always want to keep the king close by, try to get it in there, and then put the queen here. That'll happen eventually. And even if it doesn't, you just keep spamming your moves until it does happen, because it will happen. And you spend no time doing it, except again on chess.com where it takes 0.1 away from you every move. Yeah, so that's the technique. And now I'll show you kind of maybe like it's like a 5-minute or 10-minute clip from my stream earlier today, where you see this actually happen during a game against an opponent. And I get pretty excited because I had spent the previous night looking into it. So hopefully this technique helps you, and you should be able to do it within, like, at the slowest, 3 seconds at least. Like, so 1 to 3 seconds, you should be able to be confident in delivering this checkmate now. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Thank you. No, he won't go for it. If he's thinking this long, he won't go for it. Wow. Okay. So I think I'm faster. This is the key. You don't go after the A pawn. I think he might have missed this. See? I'm faster. See? But it still might be a draw here. I told you. I told you he shouldn't go for it. I told you I'd be quicker. Ooh. Go here. I can show you a new trick I was studying last night, which is how to do this in like 3 seconds. Let's see if I can do it. I practiced this yesterday. I can't believe my hard work is paying off. I practiced this yesterday, man. I practiced this yesterday. You see, I did that in like 2 seconds total. Oh, come on. Let me show you. Let me show you. I practiced this yesterday. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this here. 31 bullet games. I played against a computer. Queen against king. Look at that. Oh my goodness. My hard work paying off. So look. See, look. Can you guys see? See these position against a computer. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I was practicing it. Oh my God. I was practicing it. So like, I'll show you here. I was able to do it in 1 second. I'm shaking so I'll show you. Real time. Look at this. No hands. This is what I did against the computer. I was practicing. Okay. I did this like 31 times last night at 17 hours ago. Can you see that? No, you can't. But yeah, so I was practicing the fastest way. I was researching and practicing if I could pre-move queen against king. The answer is kind of. Oh man, that's so cool. I can't believe it happened because yeah, cuz okay, here let me go way back. So this is so interesting because after my stream yesterday, I took a bit of a break. I ate some food and then I think I played another game or two. And then let me try to find it. It was this game. So then I played this game, which was over 100 moves. It was 102 moves. It was a 10-minute game, no increment, 102 moves. And so this was a game. It was actually another Dutch. This was last night, 19 hours ago. And so this was the game, blah, 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 blah. And I outplayed him in a knight and pawn endgame. And here, so blah, 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 blah. This is the game from yesterday. I'm black, right? I have 15 seconds here, right? And then I had 9 seconds. And then in this position, I have 5 seconds left. And I managed to checkmate him, but I didn't like how close it was. So then after this, I practiced with queen against king, how quickly I could do it and if I could pre-move it. But just watch how this goes. So I had 5 seconds here. And so I did it with my normal technique that I do. And look at my clock. I had 1 second here. I was pre-moving most of this. And then I had 0.9 seconds. And I pre-moved most of it. And I had 0.1 second, and I mated him with 0.1 second. I pre-moved most of that, and I won. But I didn't like how close that was, because come on, it was 0.1. So that's when I started practicing against a computer and trying to create a different technique. So the technique that I used before, yeah, so I did that technique. You spam the pieces. So you just spam the pieces, the queen and the king, you just spam them until the queen gets to one of those squares. See, that's what I did. Just blah, 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 blah. And then I got the queen there. And then once the queen is there, that's when you drag and you hover the queen over one of these 2 squares, right? And then depending on where the king goes, the king can only go to one of these 2 squares legally. If the king goes here, then you keep him in the world's smallest box here. If the king goes here, then you put him in the world's, sorry. If the king goes here, then you put him in the world's smallest box there. Then you just, then king and mate. So that's what he did. I went there, boom, boom, mate. Oh, that's so cool.